Hey everyone, welcome back to another Transmission Tuesday. If you're in the Indigo Instinct Healing Matrix, it's Tuesday, which means it's time for another video of energetic advice and mini lessons. And if you're on YouTube, thanks so much for being part of the YouTube family. These videos come out on the following Friday. The reason I split them is because I feel like there is an energetic alignment with seeing a Transmission Tuesday on Tuesday. It's kind of like catching that full moon reading on the full moon, or just lining yourself up with time, with the energetic intention of when I post these videos. So if you want to see if it feels different, hop into the Indigo Instinct Healing Matrix on Facebook. It is a private group. It is super safe and mellow, and I post all of my videos in advance or on Tuesdays in there. This week, I wanted to talk about Ascension Symptoms. And the process of ascension, which some of you may have heard of and some of you may have not, is that when you go through ascension, essentially your spiritual and energetic body is waking up in a new way, and you're sort of moving through this process of what some people call a spiritual awakening. And I don't always use the word spiritual awakening because some people may have been connected to spirit in ways that they never really realized before they had their ascension process happen. So maybe they had a really deep relationship with nature, or maybe they had a really healthy relationship with the religion that they practice. But going through the ascension process is basically like a massive cellular upgrade that completely transforms your body and your mind and your reality. And it can feel extremely strange when you're going through it. It can feel extremely isolating. And it can also be filled with constant moments of, is this normal? Is it normal that this is happening? And has this happened to other people? Am I going crazy? There is a beautiful quote, and I can't remember the author who spoke it, but they essentially said that there's a very, very fine line between insanity and spiritual connectivity. And it essentially, what they're really saying is that when you're going through the ascension process and you're having these sort of new experiences all the time, you're going to be experiencing things that A, can't be seen by others, B, can't be felt by others, and C, depending on who you're talking with, may never be experienced by others. So you can feel a little bit crazy because you're having all of these symptoms and all of these things happen to you that you may not be able to chat with about with someone else and not feel like you're totally losing your mind. So that's why I wanted to make this video. So let's just get right into it. Ascension symptom number 1, which I find really common, although very different in individuals, is a ringing sensation in your ears. And this sometimes can feel like a ringing sound. I've had clients tell me that it feels like a buzzing sound or like a fluttering, like wings. And this often happens as a sign that spirit is trying to get your attention. So you're either doing something and they're saying, yes, okay, this is like, we're trying to contact you right now. Like, this is in alignment, or you are in alignment, or pay attention at this moment. It's kind of like this, like ringing the bell to try and get someone's attention, or you know, back in colonial days when they would like ring the bell for dinner and people would come in. It's this type of signaling from spirit that aims to essentially just get your attention. And it tends to come and go. It's not all the time. You know, if you have your skeptics that say like, oh, it's tinnitus. Well, tinnitus is a constant thing. or a pretty constant thing. Whereas this type of ringing just comes and goes out of nowhere. So if you're noticing that it's happening to you, start paying attention to when it's happening and under what situations it's happening, because that might give you some indications of some messages that are coming through. And one thing that's really important about the ascension process is that you're not going to just know what things mean at the beginning. You could be getting a ton of signs and, maybe you see 5 butterflies in one day, all in different locations. And you may have no idea what that means, but it's the important point is that it's happening. So to be aware of that and to be awake for that, and your understanding will grow in time. You sort of will grow a capacity for being able to read and recognize your own signs. Number 2, seeing specks of light out of the corner of your eye, or especially when you're meditating. And when you're meditating and you're in a sort of a relatively focused state, and then you just see a bit of light, like maybe just a little circle in the corner of your eye, or like an orb. Or often if you are speaking to someone, or if you're in a situation and you just see like a fleck of light out of the corner of your eye, and it might go across your vision, it might just be in the corner of your vision. Sometimes it's colored, sometimes it's white, sometimes it's blue. I haven't had any clients of mine experience any other colors, but anything is possible, so it could be a different color for you. And this is, again, spirit just making itself known. It is going, there are other traditions, especially in the older Gaelic and Celtic traditions, that talk about this being like a fairy symbol. And, these orbs of light are how you found the fairies, or they were like fairies in light form. And I feel that in this modern day, especially if you don't feel particularly connected to fairies, it's definitely just a sign and a sort of flag from spirit saying, hello, we're here. And again, you can use that as reassurance that they are present, or that this situation that you're currently in, where you see the light, is important or significant, or maybe it's a position or a situation where you might feel like you are in the right. And, these little specks of light are really meant to be just confirmation that spirit is hanging around you and that you're not alone in this situation. Number 3, this one is one of my favorites, and I like to use it as an excuse for my clumsiness a lot, but having this sort of like misunderstanding of yourself, your sense of space and yourself in space. So, if you are somebody who walks into doorways sometimes, but all of a sudden you're bumping into everything, you're walking into doorways, you're tripping over tables, you're doing that thing where you like think there's a step and there's not, and you sort of do the fake fall forwards, or sort of your body feels like it's not really yours, and you kind of feel like you're a little bit separate from your body. This is a major ascension sign. It's usually a symbol of bigger changes that are happening, because the way that spiritual change happens and cellular change happens is that everything changes up top, and like your consciousness changes first, and your way of thinking and your sort of spiritual being and your cellular being changes first. But the physical being's pretty dense, and it takes the physical body a little while to catch up. So if you're going through a massive shift, especially like a type of upgrade or a consciousness upgrade, you might have a day or two where you just don't really know where everything is on Earth and where everything is in space. So these are really, they can be really fun moments, because it's really meant to signify that you're going through this really big change. And you have either just upgraded or you're in the process of upgrading. So be prepared for these changes to start becoming more obvious in your life. Okay, that leads me to number 4, which is increased synchronicity. And synchronicity, for those of you who don't know, is often written off as coincidence. And really, synchronicity is the message line and the paper trail of spirit letting you know that you are in alignment, or, it's a sacred yes, or whatever's happening is really meant to be happening. And synchronicity can be manifested as things like you have a song stuck in your head all day, and you wake up with the song stuck in your head, and then you turn on the radio, and the song happens to be playing. Then that's a pretty strong synchronistic event. Or you were thinking of the movie The Lion King, and then you go to your niece's house, and they're watching The Lion King. Or, even just having these sort of moments of, it was beautiful and sunny out, and everyone, was prepared for it to be a nice day. And for some reason you pack a raincoat, and that, you don't know why, but you just pack it anyway. And, that's a little bit of intuition coming into play there. But these events that sort of match each other, or like another favorite is, you've really been hoping to see this friend that you couldn't reach. And so you decide to go to a park and sit down and have a tea that you brought and write in your journal and just spend the afternoon by yourself. And then they walk through the park. Those are really beautiful synchronicities. And it is a message line from spirit that is letting you know that you are totally where you're meant to be at this moment. And you are in alignment, and everything is as it should be. So especially if you're in times of turmoil or challenge and you're having synchronicities come through for you, this is a really, really strong indicator that you are totally where you are meant to be and you're on the right path, and that it's okay to be where you currently are. And I rolled into that one from the bumping into stuff because usually when you're going through an upgrade, which happens in phases, synchronicities will also happen at the same time. So, it'll be like 1, 2, 3 synchronicities, and then you feel like you don't even own your own body. And number 5 is the last one I'll go into. I'll name a few others after this, but number 5 is hypersensitivity to light, noise, and other people's feelings. Now, if you are a highly sensitive person, these are 3 things that you probably have a sensitivity to anyway. You probably are really put off by fluorescent lights. You probably generally can feel the emotions of others, and you're probably pretty sensitive to noise. But as a highly sensitive person who has gone through the ascension process and is always evolving, this becomes almost unbearable. I used to walk into a grocery store and I would systematically go around the grocery store in the most efficient way possible so that I wouldn't have to spend very long under the light because it felt so affecting to me. Or at one point, I would always plug my ears whenever I heard a siren because I just could not handle the frequency of the noise. And these types of high sensitivity moments, feeling like your nervous system is on the outside of you, that is a major, although uncomfortable, indicator that you're in a ascension process moment where things are changing, you are evolving in a very concentrated way, and everything sort of needs to restructure in order for you to reach this next phase where you're going to be able to act and sort of live in a new way. So it's definitely a more uncomfortable ascension symptom, but high sensitivity to emotions, noises, and lights are definitely an indicator that you're going through this process. And a few other ones that I'm not going to go into because for the sake of time is increased deja vu. Deja vu is just a collapsing of timelines. So if you're experiencing something in deja vu, and you have deja vu, I mean, it really is just like these timelines coming together. So increased deja vu is a great Ascension symptom. Seeing angel numbers, seeing 444, seeing 1111, seeing, for me lately, it's been 1s and 7s, so 717 or 1117 or, 717, any of those angel numbers are a great sign of synchronicity and Ascension symptoms, as well as a changing social circle. This is one that people don't necessarily want to experience, and it can be very difficult, and it may be a bit of a chicken and the egg situation. You may be going through an ascension process and thus your circle is changing, or your circle may be changing, which may feel really devastating, but it is because you're about to go into an ascension process and you need to be surrounded by people who are capable of supporting you in the way that you need to be supported. So that is all I have for you for this Transmission Tuesday. Please drop a like or a comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're in the Matrix family, thank you so much for being a part of this awesome family, and I will see y'all next Tuesday. Bye.